I saw a couple get hit in a crosswalk today. Now my relationship is over. I don't know where to begin. I'm typing this as I try to find a place to stay tonight. I was leaving McDonald's earlier when I witnessed a car turn right on red. The driver didn't see the pedestrians and failed to yield to them. They were both knocked to the ground and their groceries scattered. I pulled over to try to help, and the lady was hysterically sobbing. I realized they didn't speak any English when all the man could try to tell me was that she had a baby inside of her. She's pregnant. The driver that hit them pulled over as well and immediately dialed 911. Seeing the lady who hit them spoke Spanish and I did not. I told them I wished them all the best and moved on. I heard the sirens a few minutes later and knew help was on the way. I immediately texted my boyfriend with what I had just seen. I mean, nobody died, but I've never seen people be hit in a crosswalk before. It traumatized me. He gets annoyed when I call him, so I texted him to let him know what I had just seen. Trying to get it all written out, I sent the whole incident to him in 4 texts. He texts back 5 minutes later with, "Oh my God, stop texting me. You're blowing up my phone and I'm driving. I'll be home soon." When he gets home, I'm visibly annoyed at his response. I don't feel like explaining the situation to him anymore after he sent me that text. I completely understand he can't text back while driving, but I don't think it warranted that response. He could have simply ignored the texts. He gets frustrated that I don't feel like talking to him in the moment and tells me to go visit my family because he doesn't want to see me anymore. When I don't move immediately, he starts hurling insults at me. I just say okay and walk out the door. He opens the door as I'm walking to the gate and goes, "You left your food." I turn around, expecting him to hand it to me, just to see him hurling it at me. It hits the fence gate and my fries scattered all over the ground. In that moment, I just felt completely broken. I've just seen something I never wanted to see, and now my food that I paid for is all over the ground. He shuts the back door on me as I stare at it. I just feel like he lacks so much empathy. He gets frustrated and just steamrolls over anything I have to say. He tells me he wouldn't get so frustrated if I wouldn't be so much of a crybaby for 3 years straight. I'm aware I cry a lot, but I am just an emotional person. I can't help it. I also feels like he says incredibly hurtful things that would make anyone cry. I did eventually come back into the house and we tried to talk our frustrations with each other out, but he's now stating we need a break and I need to find somewhere else to stay. I see what the point of all of this is. I just need to get it off my chest. This isn't the first time he's acted like this, and I think I'm just fucking broken from it all. 2 years ago, my spleen ruptured. I wasn't living with him at this time, and begged him to come take me to the hospital. He grumbled about that, but showed up. This was during COVID, so we sat in the waiting room for hours, and he kept getting angrier and angrier, stating that I am making a pulled muscle out of nothing. At this point, I had no idea my spleen had ruptured and the hospital failed to diagnose it. The hospital concludes, I must have pulled a muscle at work and that's that. It really wasn't, but my boyfriend is so angry at this point, he storms out of the room while the nurse is giving me my discharge papers. I'm still in extreme pain at this point and have to hobble to keep up with him. He never looked back on me once. When we get to the car, a parking guard told him he was going the wrong direction and he needs to turn around. He gets angry at the guard, curses him out the window, and floors it out of the hospital. Once I was officially diagnosed with a ruptured spleen, he was very remorseful and upset at his own actions. But I've never forgotten about that. It still deeply hurts me to this day. There's been other instances like him getting frustrated that I walked too far from him at the fair, and apparently he got lost in the crowd. He pulled my arm hard and yelled at me in front of the people walking by. I felt embarrassed and upset from being yelled at. All I could do was shake while we got food. His mom tries to do nice things for him all the time. We went to Dave Buster's for his birthday last year. He was having a good time, but it's like his social meter runs short, and by the end of it, He was ignoring me and making snappy comments towards me and his mother. She spent a lot of money to give him a birthday experience at Dave Buster's, and he just doesn't care. There's other things too, but I'm so exhausted I just can't type it all out anymore. I am just so tired and sad. I wake up every day in a deep depression, and I just don't see the point of anything anymore. He sounds like an absolute piece of shit. Good riddance. I completely get how you feel, and your feelings are 10,000 validated. It's so crazy to watch something traumatizing happen like that. It doesn't matter if no one was injured or not. You still get that stomach, heart-dropping feeling. Please work on recognizing your self-worth and building yourself up so that you're able to overcome this. I believe in you. Right? F this guy. What you need is someone who rushes you to the hospital out of genuine concern for your welfare, not someone who does so begrudgingly because his first inclination is to think that you're exaggerating. What you need is someone who will grab a wheelchair and wheel you back out to the car, or at least put your arm over his shoulder and help you walk out, not someone who walks impatiently in front of you while you limp behind, even if it is just a pulled muscle. What you need is someone who doesn't literally throw food at you after he kicks you out because he's a compassionless dickhead incapable of mustering an ounce of empathy for the fact that you witnessed a disturbing crash. I hope you find somewhere else to stay quickly. Godspeed, and may you find someone who loves, respects, and cherishes you as an equal, because this dude is clearly not it. I'm so sorry. Who's on the lease? Can he really just throw you out like that? He sounds like a terrible human being who's not worth dating. I hope you were able to find other friends to talk to. Oh my God, that's terrible. I'm so sorry this is all happening to you. I always say bad things tend to come in waves. Like, why all this at once? It's so crazy when that happens. Do you have a friend you can stay with, somewhere to clear your head? Sounds like you need to get away from that guy. I've dated an ass like that before, but believe it or not, things can get better if you work towards it. I'm sorry you've been going through all this. Tough love time. You are this man's doormat. You are allowing this to happen. You know how he is. You know what to expect now. Imagine if you were with someone who was gentle, kind, and caring to you. Someone who puts your wants and needs first. This dude isn't the one for you. You should have someone who is good to you, values you, and treats you well. Maybe you're not an overly emotional person. Maybe you've just got emotional responses because he is absolute shit to you. Maybe if he treated you with respect, you wouldn't cry so much and be so emotional. If you choose to stay with this absolute asshole, you can expect all this that he's put you through and more. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Life is short. Don't waste any more years on him. Put yourself first and get out of there as fast as you can. He's throwing things at you now. What's he going to do to you next? Do you want to find out? Please treat yourself better than this and leave now. Man, I needed to walk it off before replying, because the words I have for your BF are not suitable even for the foulest of subreddits. Whatever you do, I hope you aren't entertaining a thought that anything out of his mouth has any legitimacy or value. His rage, his treatment of you, it has nothing to do with you. You are just an unfortunate, convenient target for whatever is wrong with him. The bad news is that his actions are guaranteed to escalate if you were to stick around. Every instance of him not suffering consequences is also an instance of affirmation that his actions are okay. He needs to be stopped. But more importantly, you need to get to safety from this individual. He is not your boyfriend. He doesn't get the second half of that title. He is certainly not a man. He sounds like he's not a very good person and definitely not a good boyfriend. Also, and I'm just speculating, but the thought crossed my mind that he may be cheating. Getting mad at you over small stuff, causing fights so that they can have an excuse to leave to be with their affair partner, in your case kicking you out and saying that you need a break and need to find somewhere else to stick. He may want you gone so he can focus on his app. He may really just want a break, but be aware, There are no breaks. He dumped you. It's a long, drawn-out way of doing it. I'm sorry. You deserve better anyway. Okay, husband did even one of those things. His ass would see the door. If I text him doing it knowing, he will respond when he can. If I say I need to go to the hospital, I damn well need to go, and he will stop what he's doing and take me. This guy sounds like a petulant child, and you deserve better than all this. Please take this chance to move on. For more stories like this, please consider subscribing to my channel.